what in the hell is Giannis's little brother doing demanding a trade for? Do you just want to be trendy and be like, well, I want to demand a trade too because everybody's doing it? No, you idiot. You get to demand a trade because somebody actually wants you. Like you're actually
Can't be
a
traded.
product
I
that
got
people
Trey's
want.
jersey in the mail, man.
Yeah.
I got Thanasis jersey for
You're
you.
not about to come to Thanasis like that. You're not coming at my guy Thanasis like that.
Happy post 4th of July, fellas. It is Cinco Squad episode 119. Getting up there, boys. My name is Jonathan Sawyer. With me and my brothers Grandpa Jay, Mikey, and Trey Day. Fellas, we are officially into summer. There's nothing to do. Golf is on. MLB is on. And now we get to watch non-stop coverage of Olympic basketball.
Woo!
What are your thoughts?
Well, if you're a soccer fan, then there's actually some good soccer on this week.
Bro, I actually watched soccer in New York City for like 20 minutes, and I was like, damn, this Copa America is still fucking going on. Like, can this shit end already?
It ends on Sunday. It's over on Sunday.
I feel like it's been going on for 2 weeks. Is that how long it usually goes on? It's 2 weeks?
Yeah, because there's the 3 weeks normally, because they have the group stages, which takes like a week, and then the knockout games take 2 weeks, or a week and a half. Okay.
Well, the home run derby list has been announced, and I kind of want to just do a little side topic on this because I think it's important that we talk about it and kind of mention how terrible that the rosters are for it. I think realistically, as a baseball fan, I'm like, okay, these are good guys, but as a non-traditional fans that don't watch the game every single day, this does not draw anybody's attention. No one knows.
So as you say, it's becoming like the slam dunk contest in the NBA now?
It's becoming irrelevant. And these guys are good players, like Teoscar Hernandez, Adolis Garcia, Gunnar Henderson, Pete Alonso. Mike, who are the other four?
So we got Gunnar Henderson, Pete Alonso, Teoscar Hernandez, Adolis Garcia, I believe.
I got it. We got Ramirez from Cleveland. We got Alec Bohm, and then we got Marcell Ozuna and Bobby Witt Jr. If I read those names to you guys, I mean, if you're not a baseball fan, you wouldn't know who they really are, right? So,
I would know who Pete Alonso and Gunnar Henderson won. That's it.
Yeah, so it's like,
and Garcia, of course.
They didn't do it better. They need the judges and the Sotos and the Otanis in this, and Vlad Guerrero's in there to kind of like boost it. That's what's going to help bring the.
But those guys had their moments when they were younger, right? So is it sort of like what we see in the NBA that you do a slot like when you're younger, you take part in a slam dunk contest. When you get to like year 4 or 5 in your career, you kind of that's not really your thing anymore.
Yeah, but I don't know, like. The scores in baseball are very high right now, right? They're scoring a lot of runs. If you notice, if you go to take the under at all in any of these games, like you're pretty much screwed because a lot of these games are like 6, 8, 9, 10, 11 runs total. So they're scoring. I just don't know how you don't get these guys in there. So, I mean, I just thought it was kind of interesting to me because the last few years I enjoy watching the home run derby, but I feel like it's losing its flavor in a way.
The problem is that it's not. I don't think it's the league mostly. It's the guys. The guys don't want to do it because there's a thought process that doing the home run derby can screw up your swing for the rest of the season. So if they're trying to win an MVP or trying to get a big contract, things like that, they're not going to do anything that they feel may be a detriment to the rest of their season, the second half of their season. So I've heard of a lot of guys being like, no, I just want to focus on my season and not have to do all those extra swings, even though they changed the rules this year.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens here in the home run derby. It's in 2 weeks. The New York Yankees have had one of the worst slumps in baseball thus far. Doesn't seem to be getting better for the Bronx Bombers. They can't pitch, field, hit, or do anything. The bullpen is atrocious. The starting rotation went from the best in baseball to one of the worst in baseball. 5 through 9 has been consistently, year in, year out, the worst lineup, 5 through 9, that baseball has seen. It's just getting worse and worse year in, year out, and there's got to be a change being made. Something has to be shaken up in the dugout with bringing up these minor league guys that you keep calling the top prospects, or go get yourself some players. Trade. Stop being afraid to trade guys away because they could be good. Go get some guys that can help in the bullpen. Go get some guys that can help in the starting rotation. Go get some guys that can help in general, because when you start the game down 4-0, for a team as stacked as this is, you cannot rely on just Aaron Judge and Juan Soto to get the job done. They're going to go through a little slump. That means the other people on the team need to pick it up. When Anthony Rizzo comes back, Ben Rice better be on first. They play great in April. They play great in May. And then they hit this wall in June, and they can never recover. They go to the All-Star break, and boom. You never see Brian Cashman make a move. And I agree with Brian Cashman. There's not a lot of moves out there because so many people are still in contention. So as an organization, you have all these top prospects. Sit down the guys that you're paying all this money and bring up the young guys. You know why? Because then you can trade the guys that you're paying all this money to a team for some relief pitchers, for some prospects, whatever. Get them off the roster, because that is what's going to win ball clubs when you make changes. And something has to happen immediately, because this slump cannot continue past the All-Star break. You need to come out of the All-Star break hot and ready to go. If not, this season is done, and you're going to lose Juan Soto. We got NBA. The Boston Celtics are selling their franchise, for what, like $47 billion or whatever it's going to cost them now, because it's a historic franchise. I don't even know the price tag at this point. How do you sell the idea of rebuilding your fan base? Because a lot of teams now have to do a rebuild, and we go into this a lot. So how can you rebuild your fan base, like, on the notion of, like, hey, we're going to be good, just give us a few years?
I think for me, it starts with honesty. Like, there's so many teams that refuse to admit that they suck. or vice versa, if not together, fans refuse to admit that they suck. So I think for me, you're right, it starts with being honest. Like, hey guys, we realize this isn't a contending team. Like, we will wholly admit that the team we have put together thus far has not been good, but we're making a commitment to understand that this process is our commitment to you, that we are looking to build the franchise into something that will contend. We're bringing in players that we feel can help us contend, and getting rid of players that aren't a part of that plan. So it's, I guess, asking the fans for honesty and trust by showing that you are coming forward with that honesty, that trust, and that commitment to being better. And that's just me.
But I see in trust also.
I have to disagree with
you
that.
Have to have a lot.
The one thing you have to do is win. Win. That's it. That's all they care about. You go to a game, you need to win. You need to put the W's in. They don't give a shit about the prospects 5 years from now. The season ticket holders care about right now. That's all.
But if you're not in position right now, you're not in position. There's only one champion at the end of the day. Everybody's not always going to be in position. If you're running the Detroit Pistons right now, you can say win, but how many wins do you think Detroit going to get this year, John?
18.
Okay, so right, so you got to sell them.
They get 5. That shit would be amazing.
Remember what the question was? How do you sell them on a rebuild? That
was
the question.
I get
not
what
just
you're saying.
Win, because if you say that, you're going to set yourself up to do stupid shit like, I'm going to go back to Detroit Pistons again. Remember Blake Griffin? Because they weren't, as Mike said, being realistic that we suck. So what they do? They went out and they got Blake Griffin, and now they've been in the same free fall for 15 years. So no, that mentality right there is actually how you end up ultimately really fucking your franchise up. There's ways to sell it, and it's really not just all about being on the field, being on the diamond, being on the court. The first thing you do is you go build goodwill in the community. The first way you build goodwill in the community is you go out there and you lower your ticket prices. If we admittedly say we're going to suck, how can I keep charging you $100 for a team that I admittedly say is going to suck when I know they're going to suck? The reason people say, you know what, it's not that bad. I don't know if the team sucks, but now they're charging me $70 for the $100 tickets. Go out there, do community work. Be in the community. Be involved in your community. So people say, they suck, but at least they're out there handing out backpacks to children in the community. At least they're out there, doing other stuff that makes me say, okay, yeah, they're rich millionaires, but they're trying to at least help. So you can kind of build in that way. But at the same time, do be, as Mike said, honest and transparent. If you try to force it, that's where you're going to make a mistake. But also, there's a balance, because you could do either the trust the process Sixer thing, where you go too far one way and then you really kill it, or you can build bad morale when you do the Dan Gilbert Cosmic Sans letter, where Dan Gilbert writes that letter about, we're going to win before the Miami Heat. and then the Cavs don't fucking make the playoffs the entire time LeBron's gone. And he heated the championship every year. So there's a balance, but yeah, there's multiple ways. You got to do this on and off the field, court, whatever sport we're talking about.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that's different for different franchises? We went into this last week about how it is different for different players when you talk about different places and you talk about different fan bases. And I'm gonna go back to both of us because we both have that fan base, right? The Lakers and the Yankees have the tradition of winning, right? And the tradition of raising that banner. I mean, Kobe always says it. We don't raise banners for division championships. Like, do you feel like that's different for certain fan bases in the sense of like teams in that aspect? Because they
not the smart fans, especially in a hard cap league. Right now, it would have been stupid if the Lakers would have went out there and just started handing out these stupid ass contracts. It was going to put them in a stupid position later. I'm glad the Lakers didn't go out. The Lakers are not a championship team right now. And not all the stupid fans we're not doing anything. What? So you can go out here and give DeMar DeRozan fucking $100 million when DeMar DeRozan doesn't fit with what you need? That doesn't make sense. Any smart fan, if you want to win, you are going to play the right game to go win. Now, maybe it's different for the Yankees, but more so for the Yankees because the difference is Steinbrenner can reach in his pocket and go buy a motherfucker without any cap. That's where's the difference there. It's not because of the base.
The difference in sports, in a sense.
The difference is specifically that sport. But if you are on a hard time, like let's say we're like the Arizona, St. Louis Cardinals are a historic franchise, and they were having a little bit of financial difficulties and stuff like that, then you do sell the long game and you play it smart. The Yankees may be the one exception because they have the endless pocket of anybody, and maybe the Dodgers at this moment because those two seem to have endless pockets. But other than that, no, you play the right. The other thing too, and there's one other thing. If you're smart, and this is to go back to the Lakers' point, you go in there, you find your coach, you find a GM, you give them contracts, decent contracts, 4 or 5 years, and you tell the fan base, this is the fucking coach. It's because at that point, now you take out that whole hot seat thing because that's been part of the Lakers' issue. Whether it was going all the way back, Frank Vogel wins the championship, okay, that's work, let's fire him. Darvin Ham does whatever he does, all right, let's go fire him. Everybody's always on a hot seat. That's another thing that gets people into trouble. But because the team has to set that standard of this is our guy, be patient, we're figuring out with this guy.
I think it's also different too when it's different sports. So we're going to separate the sports, right? Because NBA does not have a farm system. They do and they don't. They have the G League, but it's not really used as a farm system like it should be, right? The MLB has a farm system and has a strategy where you will start here and you will work your way through the farm system to build yourself up to be a professional ball player. Most guys who get drafted and go right to the minors don't see MLB time until maybe 4 or 5 years from now. So the Yankees over the time were hyping up these young prospects. And it was that post-Jeter Mariano area. And it was like, so to Mike's point about honesty, hey, we just drafted these 10 great prospects. We have the best prospects in baseball. Just wait until they get there. And then Judge came. And Judge was the biggest name in baseball. And it's like, holy shit, look at this guy. He's 6'7", he's hitting bombs out of the fucking park. And then you look at guys like that, you're seeing guys build. And I think it's harder in basketball than it is to rebuild a fan base in basketball than it is baseball, because baseball you have that opportunity to grow the hype around someone, where in basketball it's like, hey, we drafted you like number 2, like we're expecting you 25, 10, and 9 your first fucking season. It's like I feel like in NBA right now you're not getting the opportunity to grow as much. And I guess it just depends on the franchise too, right? So
it depends on how the franchise operated.
Yeah, so
nobody was already kicking Wemby's ass last year.
Like Oklahoma City did it right. Like Oklahoma City, Oklahoma
City robbed the freaking Clippers.
They just basically benefited off of developing players and getting them better and better. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was a breath of fresh air from the Clippers.
Mm-hmm. But they have that luxury at OKC because, once again, strong top. Sam Presti was never going to be on a hot seat, so Sam Presti got to slow grind it, take his time. I'm going to go out here draft. I'm going to make a small trade here. Certain bases, and that's where you have to look at the fan base, would have went crazy and said, we didn't win anything with Harden, Durant, and West. They were like, okay, we didn't win. It's okay. We'll wait. Then they got the Paul George there. They didn't win. And they kept being patient. That's the difference there. Yeah. Because you have to go put somebody who's established at the top who is comfortable in that spot, and you don't get that same type of pressure.
Yeah, it's got to be that balance. It has to be, because you have with a guy like LeBron's going to ask for $50 million a year. right? He's one of the greatest players of all time, if not the greatest player of all time. And he's gonna want $55 or $60 million a year. That's what his asking price is at, right? And he's gonna get it. So you got to have that balance, and I think y'all had that great balance in 2020 that I wish y'all would have built on, because y'all could have just started a whole fucking dynasty right then and there. But it was with a bunch of old players, like you said, it's a win now mentality. We're winning now.
Yeah,
you know,
they sold out for that one title.
Correct.
They did. They did with the Rams. The Rams did the same in football.
So yeah, I get it. I understand you want to get back on it. I just feel like it's different from sport to sport and franchise to franchise. So Jamie, what you got on this?
Well, I mean, like you guys are touching on the right points here, which is that you're going to have certain fan bases that are not patient, because the expectation is we have to at least compete for a title. Like, we can manage losing in the World Series to a team that's obviously superior on the field, being that they have better pitching or in baseball or better players in basketball. But a lot of franchises can't handle that and not even competing to win. So that puts a lot of pressure on the GM that you're supposed to be a top 3 team every single year. I don't think there's any team that has consistently, other than when the Yankees or the Bulls or certain teams went through these 10-year dynasties, can put a great product out there for 10 years. I mean, it's really like 4 or 5 teams in the history of each sport. So it's an unrealistic expectation. And I think fans need to really look at the history of the game and understand that. Problem right now is that the expectation is that, people say, well, you have all this money, so you should be able to, but when has that ever worked? That's rarely worked as well. The team who has the most the highest roster in terms of paid athletes on the roster, they don't win most of the time. Like, they're not the team that are the front runners. It's the team that has the best chemistry. It's the team that's creating the best balance. It's the team that's doing great in free agency. It's the teams that's learning how to use that veteran cap and have the right players. So it's an art, right? And what GMs have to do is they have to use that art, and then they have to use their hopefully they have some sort of ability as a salesperson to sell what their vision is, right? And the way you sell your vision is you bring in a freaking great head coach that can do that, because the head coach is the one selling the vision. Like Trey said, the head coach is the one going into the communities, prompting the players based off what his values are as a coach, as what he wants to see out of his players. Come do this. Come be this person. Show your face here. The fans don't care if you're losing, if you're out every other month in the community to do something great for the community, because now they're connecting with the players. So yes, they might have a little more tolerance. Are they frustrated? Hell yeah, you're frustrated. I mean, if I brought my kid to 9 Detroit games in 1 year and they lost all 9, my son's going to be like, I don't want to go back to that game. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go see Detroit play in Detroit down. I'm bad luck. Every time we go, we lose. So, you want the experience, for at least like the young kids or people that, you hope to get excited about the game, to have at least a feel that, hey, I can at least go to a home game and watch my team win. But there's so many pieces to this, man. It is probably one of the hardest puzzles to solve year in and year out. And a lot of it, too, is now the lack of loyalty and the restlessness of players, right? Like, what in the hell is Giannis's little brother doing demanding a trade for? Do you just want to be trendy and be like, well, I want to demand a trade, too, because everybody's doing it? No, you idiot. You get to demand a trade because somebody actually wants you. Like, you're actually a product that people want.
Jersey in the mail, man. I got Thanasis jersey for you.
You're not about to come at Thanasis like that. You're not coming at my guy Thanasis like that.
Oh, I am.
So I got 2 things on this, and this is big. This is big for franchises that really build a name and really help keep the consistency, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. What in the
fucky? What?
Just gets up and fucking leaves.
Jamie has said his piece. He's done.
Yeah, he dropped the mic.
Fuck Thanasis.
Thanasis. Yeah, I guess. That's the theme to this week's episode. Fuck Thanasis.
No, there's two points to this, right? That I'm gonna make on this and one is visual chemistry, and the other is significant player. What I mean by both of them, visual chemistry. Seeing the guys come right, like when I went down to Yankee. Mike and I went down to George Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. We watched the Yankees. They just looked like they were having fun. They were laughing with each other, having a good time, joking around. It just felt like a team that just loved to be around each other. And visually on social media, you can see it. And I think that's a huge miss on a lot of people, is not seeing the visual representation of the chemistry and the camaraderie, the community work, to Trey's point, that, hey, this team is building, because chemistry wins games. At the end of the day, you can be the worst. You could have been the worst team last year, but all of a sudden you get along with everyone. You start playing well. You start vibing well. You could be the best team in the league ultimately. The other thing is selling a great player. If you have a player on your team, you need to sell him. I was just in Yankee Stadium last week, and every time the captain, number 99, got up, everyone stood. All 50,000 players stood, and it was the first inning, cheering like, "Let's go, Judge! Let's go, Captain!" They got a 99 burger named after him. They got the judges' chambers in right field. The hype around Aaron Judge, as long as he is a Yankee, that is why you re-sign him for $300 million for 10 years. Not for his play on the field. Ultimately, it's for number one, the merchandise. Number one, people sitting in the stands. So if you can sell that type of player, and a player that's going to get along with the community, right? Get along with people and be out there. Such as a guy like Anthony Edwards for Minnesota. Perfect player for Minnesota to build on. They need to sign him and lock him the fuck down when he asks for it, because that is a great player for the community. I've heard so many great things about him in Minnesota and doing great things. Patrick Mahomes for Kansas City. Those type of things you need, because that's what's going to ultimately put people in the stands and put people behind you and rebuild that faith in the franchise. Like, hey, they signed a great player. Eventually, they're going to get it done.
Yeah, but Judge is lightning in a bottle, right? Like, certain players are lightning in a bottle. You know what I mean?
That's where you have to kind of hit on those. So, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for Oklahoma City, they need to lock him the fuck down, because he was a breath of fresh air this year for OKC. So, guys like that, I use the biggest names in these sports, right? But even like the smaller, Shai Gilgeous is second in MVP voting. I mean, you're looking at guys who are really good players, and you need to lock them down.
Rebuild feels better, and we've all had teams that we root for that have gone through rebuilds, retools, however you want to phrase it. Rebuilds and all that feel better when you have a face of the franchise. That's I completely agree. When you have someone that's like, okay, we're building obviously in a rebuild, we need to build the pillars, the foundation of what this team as a success is going to look like. But look at this. We have the main pillar already. Like, this is the guy we're building around. Rebuilds suck. Like, and I will join Trey in going back to the Pistons. Who are the Pistons building around right now? I mean, apparently it's Cade Cunningham, because they signed him to the massive rookie extension. Exactly. Right, they're building around another team.
The money says it, but yeah, it's not.
The money says it's Cade Cunningham, but before the money, could you have definitively said Cade Cunningham was their never touch them core piece? I don't think you can. I don't think they have one.
I mean, to that point, look at the Knicks. The Knicks are buying into this Nova brotherhood of hey,
but that's the core.
This Nova brotherhood who won a national title at Nova is going to win us an NBA title. They're building on it, and this trade for Mikal Bridges was strategized for that exact reason. They have a podcast together. They hang out together. They're with each other all the time in New York. This was strategized for that, and it was not for winning basketball games. It is for putting people in the stands and selling the dream that this Nova team is, or this Nova quad
core,
core is going to quadrangular is going to.
But John, you could argue that they were an injury away from competing for the Eastern Conference title, and
agreed,
everybody knows they were going to lose to Boston.
And I think Mikal brings them into that position 100%. I agree with you on that. I just feel that they're selling. You have to sell something outside of on the court, ice, field, anything, because that's what puts people, the storylines and everything. That's why we go and watch different things, is because we enjoy the storyline that goes on. So, speaking about franchises and rebuilding and everything, as the Boston Celtics are being sold right now, if you could buy any franchise in the world, what franchise would it be? Trey?
Okay, so, I mean, the obvious answer. I'm not saying this because I'm a fan of the team, but I would buy the Lakers. And it's for multiple reasons. It kind of goes back to where we just left at. As much as, and I'm talking Lakers fans, not LeBron fans, I'm not talking Kobe fans. Lakers fans are patient overall, the actual Lakers fans, because when you had those dark times after Magic, unfortunately, was diagnosed with HIV, people were patient waiting for the Kobe and Shaq era. We had to sit there for 3 or 4 years wait. Then you go through those dark days after Kobe and Shaq split up, where we're sitting there, I'm going to say it again, we're dealing with Smush Parker, then Samaki Walker, and this is the type of roster we run now. And the only attraction we had was Kobe, but people were patient. Then you had to go between the Kobe era and into the LeBron era where people were patient again. So you do have a patient enough fan base of actual fans. You do have LA as your backdrop. You have one of the most storied franchises. So I don't know. I'm kind of looking at them. The other thing too, ultimately, is I would never want to buy a baseball franchise because it goes back to what we just said before. If they start losing, everybody's gonna say, well, "Look at this guy. He's just sitting down his money." You know what basketball gives you luxury of? I got a hard cap, man. I'm spending. I'm doing what I can do. Every time I sit here in Cleveland and the Guardians don't spin, what does everybody jump up and say? What the fuck are the Dolans doing up there? South Florida, you Knicks fans. What are the Dolans doing? Yes, the Dolan owns the Guardians too. A different Dolan. But yeah, everybody's looking at them and saying, why aren't you spending money? So that's why I don't want a baseball team. The NFL, I'm sorry. I've seen the fan base. Y'all do too goddamn much. I ain't about to be David Tapper up here trying to fight fans in the crowd. So I don't want an NFL team. The NBA, it just seems like the most fun thing to buy into. And at that point, I'm going to take the most storied franchise. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Boston. Lakers are the most storied franchise.
What the fuck? You're not going to buy an NHL hockey team? Come on, man.
What am I supposed to do there? I don't even know.
I think you'd be a good hockey owner.
You'd be a great hockey owner because you wouldn't know what's going on, and you'd be like, hey, this guy sounds cool. This guy.
Because I'm probably gonna go out there and be like, okay, let me go get Javante Tank Davis, Terrence Crawford. I'm just gonna get all the top boxers, throw them out, teach them how to fucking skate, and say, all right, we at least go in the fight every night.
Nah, Trey would somehow swindle. The reason why Trey would be a great NHL owner, he would somehow methodically swindle and talk his way because he's a great negotiator and talker. And he'll somehow get himself Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin, and Nikita Kucherov all on the same team, playing on the same line, and he'll win a Stanley Cup. Somehow they'll all take a pay cut and be on the same team playing with each other.
Because they'll just want to play for Trey.
He'll make them wear an Ohio State jersey, even though they're not the Ohio State Buckeyes.
He'll be the Rick Pitino of the. Oh wait, no, never mind. I'm not going to even do that. No,
I want to be Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino and nothing.
You're not going to be Rick Pitino. No, but I could see that happen. Like Trey, I'd be like, Trey, how the fuck did you do this? I don't know. I just fucking did it.
They just said they wanted to come play. These were the names I was most familiar with. So
to go with that, like it was tough for me because I'm diehards in every single league. You know, obviously, I would love to own the Yankees just because of the brand, the name. You can easily sell, the next biggest prospect. But if I had to own a franchise, it would have to be the Detroit Red Wings. Hockey Town, the history behind it, the Gordie House, the 1990s teams, all those guys. I mean, just building and rebuilding. There's a reason why Stevie Y went back in there. There's a reason why Chris Draper and Nick Lidstrom are in the front office. They want to see this built. And there's such a love in hockey. Hockey is such a passionate sport. I mean, you saw the jubilation with Florida as when they won the cup. It was just, we're leaving. The GM is sitting there crying on the ice with Matthew Tkachuk, with the cup in his hand, just like crying. Like, that's how much work they get. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in other sports. I just feel like NHL, because the salary caps are so low, you're getting guys who actually want to play for the sport nowadays instead of just playing for the money. Obviously, money is a huge factor for any sport, but I feel like that's where you're seeing the biggest, victory, right? Like, when you see them win the Stanley Cup and hoist that thing up, it's just like, damn, this is mine now. Like, the best trophy in sports, this is mine. And it's just an awesome feeling. Plus, Detroit is a winning franchise. Detroit is a dedicated town. When their teams are winning, they are all in everything. But I agree with Trey on the whole, when we went back to the other topic, about, lowering costs. Like, I would lower costs. The Red Wings are in a rebuild phase right now. So to that point, I would lower costs, get people hyped about certain players. Dylan Larkin, I would get people hyped about these certain players. Patrick Kane coming there. You just got Tarasenko in there. You would hype these guys up and really put them out in the community. I feel like that's the one thing in hockey you don't see as much, is them exploited more into the community, which they are and they aren't, because they're not put out there. So I would do my best to make sure we have a whole social media team ready to go and just blasting them out in the community. And like I said, Detroit loves their teams. At the end of the day, they're going to go support the Pistons, like the Red Wings, and the Lions. I mean, you saw the Lions at Ford Field in the playoffs. That was electric, and that was awesome. I would have loved to have been there. So I feel like that town and that rebuilding that franchise would just lift everyone up.
Yeah, for me, the obvious answer again, like with John, is the Yankees. It would be great to own the Yankees, but I will choose to rip ownership away from James Dolan, and I will take the New York Rangers away from him because we need to make sure that James Dolan owns as little teams as possible. Plus, I want to be able to take over and help finally bring another Stanley Cup to New York. As far as the original 6 teams go, they have the least amount of cups. They haven't won since 1994. Before that, they haven't won since 1940. So it's time, I feel, to take over, take the helm, and be able to allow the hockey people to do what they need to do and not be meddling James Dolan. That's, I mean, and plus, obviously, being able to spend every night in the Garden watching my team play, be able to help build that
Mikey's
franchise.
ass would have a fucking room. He'd be the Chiefs.
I'd live there.
Fucking suite, like literally like a suite in Arrowhead. Like if you go into his suite, it's an actual like room. Like there's rooms, there's a bathroom, there's like a kitchen, there's everything in his suite. That's what when I saw that, I'd be like, if Mike owned a franchise, that's what he'd be. He'd be like, hey,
I'm just live at the arena.
Garden. We're just gonna get soundproof walls for all the concerts and everything.
Exactly.
Or
quiet down.
Come on, Billy Joel, you played here enough, motherfucker.
Go away. Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's the other thing I would do. Were I to, because involved in buying the Rangers, it would be buying the Garden because you'd have to buy.
Yeah, you do get the
stake of Madison Square Garden. So yeah, no, okay. I'm sorry, Billy Joel. We're done. Like you've played here enough.
If
the
you
residency's
bought the Garden,
over,
bro. I'd ask you to put a fucking gym on the roof. So like when they do the over camera route, I can just sit there like benching and squatting on the roof.
Welcome to New York Rangers hockey. And as the New York Rangers take on the New Jersey Devils, and a guy working out on the
Santa Claus doing 500 pounds getting ready for Christmas. So.
Weird guy working out on the fucking. Wait, how did they get? Is that the Rock's
in the middle of a gym?
Yes. Yes. Look, that's Dwayne the Rock Johnson right next to him. That's the attraction of the Garden now.
That'd be my dream. Aaron Donald and Dwayne Johnson, I would love to hit a workout with. So let's make it happen, guys. I bet you I can outlift you. Grandpa Jay, what team overseas?
Take us over the pond.
Well, one would think the obvious answer is right here behind me, but I'm going to do what Mikey did. And I'm going to buy the Flint Tropics. No, I'm just kidding. I'm taking freaking Oklahoma City out of Oklahoma. We're going back to the great Northwest. And welcome back Seattle Supersonics basketball to the NBA, because you know that would be my number one move. I'll rip the hearts out of Oklahoma fans and tell them, you never deserved a damn basketball franchise. You don't give a shit about basketball. All you care about is Sooner football. That's all they freaking care about there in Oklahoma. They don't give 2 shits about basketball. So I'll take my damn franchise back to Seattle, where the fan base was as loyal as it gets. Here we go again with the Rain Man. We got our big 3 with Williams, SJ, and Chet Holmgreen. I get Ray Allen to come in and be president of basketball operations. Jesus Shuttleworth to the world, baby. And Seattle basketball will be back on the map the freaking day after I bought the franchise. It'll be in the damn middle of the season. All of a sudden, you'll be like, why the hell are they wearing green uniforms with Seattle on it? Because we're starting from today. We're not even waiting to go back to Seattle. Oklahoma will be playing in a Seattle uniform in Oklahoma until I can get my damn team back to the right state in the right uniforms, so I can say, let's go Seattle Supersonics basketball, because that's where they freaking belong.
Well, I'm sold. I'm 100%. So you know what? If we don't end up buying our franchises, Jay, please hire us on staff, because that's the kind of energy we need to bring back Supersonics.
Oh, and if I was an owner, every night would be bobblehead night.
100%. Yep. We've all got great players or celebrities that are associated with our teams. We could do bobbleheads all the time.
Why do you have so many George Costanza bobbleheads?
Yeah,
well, this one was giving away at Yankee Stadium, like first 18,000, and then Malin traded with some guy there and got this one because we already have this one. So now I have 2 of them. The younger George with losing his hair and then completely lost his hair. It's kind of how I looked when I left the game, just losing my hair, ripping it out when they lost. So.
By the way,
bobblehead night.
Bobblehead night, every night, all night, every night. So we all expected Jamie to go overseas, right? Allow me to fill that gap for you, since he didn't, and allow me to bring you my Mike's Mind fact, which will take us overseas. We're about to call out overseas, in fact. Despite their high contention all the time that they won't shut up about, that football is the only proper term to use, the word soccer, which we over here in the States use, was actually created in England. In the 1800s, association football was shortened to ASOC or ASOC. Late in the 1800s, due to a trend of adding ER to words, the term soccer was used as a slang. This ended up spreading over to the US, where the sport at the same time as that trend was going on over in England was becoming more popular. But due to American football already existing at the time, Americans began to use the slang term, which was soccer. Since then, the English have stopped using soccer as a slang term and have begun to laugh at anyone who uses it. So, I will state for the record, the entire reason we don't call it football is because of them. So stop bitching.
I love that fact. I'm happy you brought that up.
We wasted a good name on you.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like in the aristocratic crowd, like amongst the Oxford crowd and stuff, they added a air to the end of everything they said. So, are you willing to come and have a cup of tea air with me?
Chip.
So they added that little ER on the end, and they completely created their own monster. So yeah, that's what you give them.
Their fault.
I'm gonna still call it soccer no matter what.
It's always soccer.
Because like I tried, I really did when I moved down here. When I started talking with people about football and stuff, and they're like, and then they thought I was talking about the Dolphins, and I'm like, okay, well now I'm calling it soccer because everyone's calling it soccer. And
this is America. Why would you even try to?
Because everyone likes soccer down here in Miami, and I was just trying to fit in. And you know what? I didn't fit in.
The soccer team's never going to be bigger than the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. Especially with
even with Messi on the team.
I was gonna say they went and got Messi. And they're still not as big as the Dolphins.
That's the funny part too. They got Messi, and like literally a week later, like didn't hear about anything at all about him. It was
Miami.
It was a couple games.
They
had it for 3 months. Everybody was bringing their kids to watch him play. All the celebrities wanted a piece of it.
Bro, they were selling jerseys out of a car down the street when I was going to the gym. I was driving by, and this guy was like selling all these Messi jerseys. I'm like, damn, that's illegal. I was like, damn, I can get you locked up. Give me a free jersey. I should have done that.
Look at that pink flamingo one right there, bro.
Look at that pink flamingo. You know, pink works good for me. But damn, Mike, you know how to throw the fun facts out there. So
yes, sir.
Screw you, 3 Lions. I'm pissed off. I didn't want England in the finals again, but they did play the better match, and out goes my guys, the Orange Army from the Netherlands. And man, was it a real tease. I thought that this was the time that the Dutch had the best opportunity to win the Euros. England looked weak as their opponent in the semifinals. They hadn't been playing great football. Once again, they just scrap and find a way to get through, and kudos to them because the management to me sucks, but he made some interesting decisions and brought on some super subs that ended up giving them the opportunity to win and make it back to the finals of the European Championships, where they will play Spain for the rights to see if they can win this time. But guess what, 3 Lions fans? Y'all ain't going to be celebrating. The cup isn't coming home because these young Spaniards are going to take it, and you guys are going to be home or at the bars or wherever you are acting like a bunch of freaking hooligans because England ain't getting the job done. Vamos, España!
As we continue with the Olympics are just a few weeks away, and there's been 5 new events added to the Summer Olympics. So which event are you most looking forward to this year?
And those events are?
Oh, I'm sorry. Breakdancing, kayak, cross, whatever that is, skateboarding, sports climbing, and surfing. I already know Jamie, so.
I was going to say, you were just going to get Jamie.
Go ahead.
You just want me to get it out the way, guys? You just want to get the phone out the way? Well, I mean, there's only one obvious answer. We see the surfboard right there in the background, everyone. So, of course, it's surfing. Here's the fun thing about surfing, because I don't think this has ever been done in the history of the Olympics. It'll take place not in the City of Lights in Paris. It won't even be near France. It's going to be 10,000 miles away in Tahiti, which is an island, a French Polynesian island in the South Pacific Ocean. Here's the coolest part about it, all right? First of all, that wave is a monster wave. If you're a freaking Braveheart, you'll paddle into that wave on heavy conditions. If you're a faint heart, you might get towed in on a jet ski. I don't think they're going to go do tow-in surfing for the Olympics because that's not really the traditional style of surfing unless they want to make it a big wave surfing tournament format. It's going to be just traditional surfing, which means the guys have to paddle in to a beast of a wave. I'm talking the slab on that wave looks like a monster. So depending on the conditions, it might make this obviously one of the more interesting surf tournaments because you really have to nut up to surf at Tahiti. You're talking about waves that can get as high as 15 feet in the face, okay? And people say that's not big. That's look at a basketball rim and then go 5 feet higher than that, lying down on the ground while looking up at it. The wave slab, like I said, is huge, and it breaks on reef that maybe might be 2 feet deep. So it is one of the gnarliest waves in the world. But here's the fun part. The surfers are going to be partying the whole friggin' time because they're taking about 6 luxury yachts and parking that shit up about a mile off the break. And they're all just going to be partying on a freaking yacht the whole damn time, loving life, not giving 2 shits about what's happening in Paris. Because surf's up, dude. That's what it's all about, man. Rock climbing. Have you guys seen rock climbing? Rock climbing is literally fucking Spider-Man reincarnated in a fucking little human body. They take 6 seconds to go up 100 feet. It makes no sense. The athleticism is out of this world. But all of them are within like 1/100th of each other. So, I mean, all of them are pretty much on the same athletic level. The cross kayaking thing, whatever, the original kayaking, that was already good enough. I don't know why you have to try and modernize the sport. Who knows what the fuck you're going to do? How do I know if one breakdancer is better than the other? I don't care if one person can do a doogie better than one person can do 6 backflips. How the hell are you going to even judge that? That's going to be one of the most biased events in the Olympics.
Doogie.
Doogie Howser. It was Neil Patrick Harris back.
Doogie.
Here's Dougie.
Somebody teach him how to say Dougie. Teach him how to say Dougie.
I know my ass could never surf because I went to the Atlantic Ocean this year and the waves were just like choppy. I couldn't even stand up. I kept getting knocked over. People were laughing at me. I'm like, I can't imagine myself on a fucking board hitting my head, knock me the fuck out. So I'm good.
That'd be exclusive Cinco Squad material. John attempting to surf.
Bro, Maitland's laughing her ass at me. I'm like, help! Like I'm dying over here. I'm
Help
getting knocked over. While this guy's parasailing on a freaking wave, I'm like,
relax.
Well, this ain't for
me.
Are
you all right, dude?
So out of these ones, I had to go with sports climbing. I feel like that's so difficult. And I feel like what a sport is you have to be methodical. You have to be you have strategy. You have to have athleticism, which that does. I mean, being able to climb a rock and be able to climb outdoors and not know. I mean, I don't know if is it on an actual like.
No, it's a controlled wall.
I would have liked them to be on like an actual side of like a mountain and do that because I feel like that would be more challenging. I would like that.
I guarantee you would not. You would have had about a 3-minute delay on that shit just in case someone died.
Well, no, they would be anchored. They would have like an anchor. Like they wouldn't just let them out there by themselves.
A lot of time they free climb, man. That's like the spirit of that. Free climbing.
Like that, man.
Have them do the cliffs of Dover.
Bro, I can't go 4 feet off the fucking ground without crying. You manage me all the way up on a rock. Oh man!
Look, man. I know I just listed, but it probably is one of the more impressive athletic feats. How fast they can move up that wall. It really makes no sense when you watch them. They look like they're just like pogoing themselves up. When most of the time you can say you're climbing like second by second. They're moving like within a quarter of a second, like meters by meters. It's nuts.
I just couldn't imagine. I'd just be stuck up there. Be like, call the National Guard, call the helicopter. I'd just be holding on to something like, help!
You're tethered. Just let go.
No, I'm good. I tried to do that at Bonaventure because they have a rock wall in our gym. And I tried to do it once, and I was like, I got like literally 6 inches. I was like, no, I'm good. Never mind. Started sweating. My hand slipped. I thought it was dying. It was just bad. And then I'm afraid I'm too heavy. So if I go down, the guy holding the rope goes flying up. It's just going to be like
pulley,
like a pulley system. It's just not going to be a good time for anybody, you know. Especially because it would probably be Mike holding me. Could you imagine?
Oh, I'd
fucking Mike.
Back in college, I was like $120. I'm going flying.
Yeah, I can imagine that. All right, Trey. I'll stop talking for 5 seconds. I win the Olympic gold medal for that.
You did it.
Okay, I just had to verify it. Okay, no, so in all seriousness, though, the right answer to this is breaking. The answer is breaking. It's simply that. You know why? Because everybody in here has danced at some point in their life. Everybody in here, we all can't surf. Some of us may or may not know how to swim. I know how to swim, fortunately. I think everybody on here does know how to swim, but everybody doesn't always know how to swim. So you can't let everybody go surf. Everybody can't go out here and swim, so you can't have everybody go kayak. Some people know how to balance the skateboard. Sports climbing, yeah, it's very impressive. But breaking, everybody has been on the dance floor. And to be the best of the best out there is amazing. Also, the shout out to rap, the shout out to hip hop. This coming from the streets of New York City now to the Olympics. I just think that is dope. They're actually getting that. So, I mean, just from looking at some of the videos, Canada actually has a good team. I'll shout them out. Even though I ripped Canada a new ass, check out my rant, later on or something about, how I feel about Canadians in basketball. But anyways, the Canadian team is supposed to be pretty good. The Japanese team is supposed to be pretty good. There's also a guy out there from Kazakhstan named Amir. Amir, man, the guy is silky smooth. I mean, I'm talking, the guy is just out here just flowing. And that's going to be a dark horse to watch. So just remember that name, Amir from Kazakhstan. That's my early dog.
Kazakhstan!
Yes. That is
very nice.
And shout out to our brother Keenan, because I know he was hyped to hear about breakdancing being in the Olympics. And I know everyone was like, why don't you go for it? He's like, I'm not a breakdancer.
Yeah, let him join Team USA.
I'm not a breakdancer.
So I think it's pretty cool, too. I didn't even think that would be an option, but I thought that was pretty sweet. Mike,
well, the thinking behind that by the IOC is that they have to try and get the fan base to be younger. And that's why they go in with sports traditionally where you're seeing a much younger fan base who would appreciate breakdancing, rock climbing, and surfing amongst the sports that we just mentioned.
Mike, what you got?
I'm actually going to go kayak cross because seeing kind of pictures and footage of it, I don't even understand
it's
it.
Insane.
That's the thing. Is it like motocross but with a kayak?
It's like no, it's so they do it in like it's speed. Like these men move so fast, it's freaking nuts how fast they move. And they create, I think it's in like a man-made sort of situation where you create like currents and you kind of have the course like dictated based on how you want it to be. So think of like a man-made sort of kayak slalom event, right? Like you think of whitewater rafting in a sense is when people think of extreme kayaking. But these guys, it's kind of like how you set up in horse racing, right? Like they're behind a little barrier and you see it like come out and then they're freaking like just gone in an instant. It's impressive. I mean, the amount of speed these guys get on the jump, it's crazy how much power that they have. But it's just like sprint kayaking, right? So you see a traditionalist like crew where you see everybody like working in sync. It's just mono, just who's the most powerful person. And it's just raw power. It's pretty. I mean, it is.
I will be honest though.
Going into the Olympics is a freaking amazing athlete, right?
The IOC did a good job in getting people interested because I'm interested in watching every single one of these events.
Exactly.
Just as point. Like I've never heard about. I never would have thought breakdancing would be a sport. Like I never thought about dancing as a sport. But I mean, anytime I've seen Keenan dance, he comes away, he's like drenched in sweat. I'm like, damn, you pretty much did a workout, bro. And they got like Zumba and like classes and stuff at the gym and stuff, and it's like, okay, that makes sense. So sorry, Mike, I cut you off. What were you saying?
No, it's fine. I'm getting more clarification as to just to understand it. And
just think of whitewater rafting in a controlled environment.
And see, that's what interests me the most is the pure chaos of the event.
Yeah.
The fact that, and I know I could tell from the footage and like the pictures and stuff, it's not a wide course.
Mm-mm.
You've got a bunch of guys in like, they've got maybe 6 to 10 feet of space for all of them. So they're just, and I'm so interested to see how that works out and like if they're flipping each other with like just in the heat of the moment and like just the pure chaos of it, because we have such the Olympics tends to be such controlled events.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like individuals are going one at a time and things like that. So to see just this rapid fire, just insane, like it's over in like a minute, but wow, what did we just see type thing? Like that's what interests me the most about it.
All right. Well, to that point, which event or sport would you want to see added to the Olympics?
So the obvious choice for me is baseball, but I'm not going to say that because I honestly do think that baseball and softball are both going to be added in the 28 games because they've been in
already. They just took them out and they'll come back.
Yeah,
they'll come back. It's just that France doesn't play baseball.
It's just difficult because it's right in the middle of the baseball season. They really just they're not going to get any players from the American from.
You might get like low minor leaguers at most, but it's probably going to be a lot of college kids. Which is, I mean, the college kids are great, so I'm excited to see that. But I think those will be in for 28 because it's in LA. They got plenty of parks and stuff to use. I found one that I would really want to see, and I think everybody would really enjoy it. Underwater hockey.
Oh, wow.
This is a legit sport.
I've never seen
it. I know. I hadn't either.
Underwater basket weaving. You know, like
underwater
that
basket
weaving. They used to major in college.
No, apparently, legitimately, underwater hockey is a sport. 6-on-6, 10-person teams, no goalies. And the players, you can imagine, they push the puck across the bottom of the pool using small hockey sticks. But the most interesting part of it is from what I read, they're not allowed to use diving equipment. So, no snorkels, no. How do they? You have to hold your breath. So you're going to have players.
Is the pool?
Deep enough. I didn't see a particular specific depth, but from the
definitely below.
I
mean, it has to be minimum 8 to 10 feet, somewhere around there.
Yeah, no, it looked like a 6 to 8 foot deep pool. And please, somebody in the comments correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see a specific regulation size or depth, but that's what it looked like to me. It was deep enough that they had to dive low to be able to play. So you continuously have people popping up and down. They're not allowed to use diving equipment or scuba gear or anything like that. No fins, no nothing. It's just them, their little hockey sticks, and the puck on the floor. And I think that'd be really fun to watch, especially with the innovations that swimming has made with the underwater cameras. I think you could get a lot of really cool angles, and I think that'd be a fun event to watch.
I never even thought about that before. I think they're just coming up with different things.
No, just random shit now.
You know, I don't know, man. That's crazy.
It looks interesting. I looked at the picture.
I forget what mine was after thinking about that. Damn, what the fuck? How do I top that?
Underwater hockey.
Underwater basketball. Jamie, what you got?
All right, so I was toggling back and forth, and I figured pickleball would probably get a lot of traction just because it's becoming a global phenomenon. But it doesn't really have the pizzazz if you ask me what one thing. And I think what would add this amazing off factor to the Olympics, because we've seen it really take off, and some of these guys are some of the craziest people in the world, is have wingsuit flying in the Olympics. Mano a mano, jump off the freaking mountain, and whoever makes it onto the stand first wins. Wherever that stand is, freaking 1,000 feet below the mountain. Huh?
What if you miss the stand?
Then you don't win.
You just don't win. Disqualified.
You don't come back.
There's no coming back.
Sayonara. I left it all in the Olympics.
Is there higher stakes than that, though? Honestly,
I would be so down.
But who wouldn't tune into two guys on a freaking cliff jumping off with freaking wingsuits flying down the mountain trying to race each other to this 10x10 helicopter pad? Come on, bro. That's fucking incredible TV.
Wingsuit flying in the Olympics. You either medal or you die.
Well, there goes Craig. Where's he going? No fucking clue.
Well, I don't think he's going to claim the gold this year. Well, he's going to claim
it somewhere in the forest. That would be fucking epic, dude. But where would you do it in America?
Where?
Yeah, where would you do it in America? For the
probably out in Colorado, places that have big skiing mountains, when it's not winter time.
I was just asking, where you would place that in America next year,
the Rockies. Yeah. I would. Say
look, you want to show off your country, right? You find some of the most beautiful topographic places, and you say, let's just go here, and you have helicopters filming from above, or you have drones flying and filming it, and it's going to be epic. I mean, what other sport can offer you that sort of view? Right? Imagine the guy's going so fast the drone can't even keep up. And the guy's like, our drone can't even keep up with Gary right now. He's flying so fast. It'll be amazing for TV, bro.
Gary's coming too close. Can't move it in time.
Gary
knocks out the drone.
Gary.
I think that's pretty fun. I mean, I had probably simple ones, but the one that came out to me that is really intense, and I don't know if you guys ever played it, but I was thinking spike ball.
Nice.
Spike ball is
an
Olympic sport. So basically, it's like a ball. You have like a rubber ball in this net, and it's played on the beach mostly.
You play anywhere.
But you can play it anywhere. But it's harder on the beach, and it's easier to dive on the beach because it's softer. So basically, like you basically spike it down, and I think you get two. It's like kind of like volleyball, like a two-man 2-on-2. So you spike it down, you can tip it up to your partner, and they spike it back down into the net, and it pops back up, and then you have 2 touches to kind of get it back to them. And then if it hits the ground, you get your points gone. But I think that's
so like it's a full 360. It's a full 360-degree open playing field shade. There's no out of bounds. You can hit it as far as you can, and you have to run and try and retrieve it. The whole point is on that second hit, it has to make contact with the net and at least bounce off the net.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's a flat. It's like a trampoline. Think of it like a baby trampoline, right?
Yes.
And you're hitting the ball off like a baby trampoline.
It's like a baby trampoline. It's intense, man. I played it one time, and I was almost out of breath. And I was like, man, this is tough because like you're moving. You can spike it anywhere. I think that would be a sweet sport to watch, like in the Olympics, just to see like the guys going at it, like top tier athletes, not like overweight guys like over there, like top tier athletes going at it. Like Aaron Donald spikes it. We might not see the ball for a week, but fucking sweet. And there it comes. But I thought spike ball, but I also thought cornhole too. I think that was an interesting one. Yeah. It reminds me of curling in a way for the Winter Olympics, but I don't know if is cornhole in the Olympics? No. I thought cornhole too. Like those 2 games I thought would be pretty cool because it's been, very popular across the world now. So
Yeah. All
right, Trey Day. What do you got?
Well, we need America to win, so we need to add a hot dog eating contest. So No, I'm just kidding. That's not actually my answer. But I would have done it just so America can win. As long as we have Joey Chestnut, we automatically get the gold. But no, what I did a little bit different is I added an event to something that already exists. So in a past life, past pounds ago, I used to run track back in the day. And I know some people say, this guy ran track. Yeah, I wasn't always this big. I used to run track. And I used to be a sprinter. I was a 400 runner. But I would love for them to add, it was used one time in 1908 from what I saw. It's an event that's used in relays called the sprint medley. It's usually used in like relay track events. They also have a version of it called the distance medley, but the sprint medley in particular, it was one of my favorite races to run. I was a 400 runner, and basically the race is the first leg somebody runs 100, second leg somebody runs another 100, somebody runs a 200 that completes a lap. Then the last anchor is the 400 who runs a full lap around. So at that point, it would be a sweet race because you're probably going to put that country's best 2 100 runners, their best 200 runner, and their 400 runner all on the track at the same time. So it's almost like combining some Avengers type shit. And that would be the same if you did the distance medley. I kind of think about if you went back to like the Sydney, Australia Olympics, imagine if you had Maurice Green and Michael Johnson in the same relay team, like running, how sweet of an event that would have been. So the relay is always one of my favorite things, but I've always thought like, why is this only used at like relay meets in like high schools and colleges?
Okay, can you imagine the Jamaicans with Johan Blake and Usain Bolt and all the freaking goons?
Yeah, like if you would have
that world record would never get beat. That 400 runner could be slow as molasses, and they'd still set the world record.
Trey, explain the relay though for people that don't know. Like, what is considered in the relay? Like that they do is they're just running around. It's just like
they're running around. So the 100 is like. That's your quickest race. So that's what you used to see like Usain Bolt run. So imagine your first person is going to run the Usain Bolt leg. They hand the baton to another person who runs the same amount, which is 100. That gets you halfway through a track. The track is 400 meters. The next person runs the other half of the track, gets you back to the beginning.
And the other guy runs the full lap.
So one rotation is 400.
That would be sweet, though. That would be sweet. I don't know what is there a relay races. Now?
Yeah, there's a 4x1, and there's a 4x2, and there's a 4x4. They have the traditional relays of the distance.
Yeah, and you have the distance. So this would basically be taking those 3 relays, taking the best person from each one of those relays and putting them all in one relay together. Which, like I said, in high school, that was one of my favorite events because, like, I had homies. I ran the 400. I was on the better 400 runners, and it was cool, like, to run with the guys who ran 100, who I was always cool with. Be like, hey, it'd be cool to run the relay with y'all. But, they running the 100s, I'm running 400. But to put all of us and link up would have been like the sweetest thing. And the crowd, every time that relay came up, it would be one of the later relays. Usually the 4x4 always was last, but the crowd would go crazy. Because I remember, and I guess this is a quick flashback in Cleveland, but I specifically remember watching Glenville High School. This is where like Ted Gee and all these guys are going, and watching 4 dudes. I forget, it was Guy and a couple other guys. All of them going to Ohio State and watching all 4 of them run this relay and being like, this is fucking crazy. And all them dudes going to the Big Ten next year and like just sitting there watching this. I'm like, man, that was like, it was a crazy experience.
That's crazy.
Be dope in the Olympics.
But yeah, I mean, I think that would be a sweet add-on because I watch some of the running, but I don't watch enough of it to know what these are. But so I didn't know that, and I always thought it was like something similar to that. I didn't know it was like there's 4x1, 4x2, 4x3, 4x4. So combining them all would kind of
combining them all into one.
But that would make more sense in my head for a relay because you're taking your best athletes and putting them in there, right? It's kind of like in swimming. I think swimming does something similar where they do like a 4-man relay where one does a backstroke, one does a butterfly, one does the regular, and one does the
breaststroke freestyle.
Isn't that correct or no?
Medley relay. I was gonna say swimming already does that at every level. Is the medley relay?
See, I know.
Yeah, it's a track version of that.
No, nobody ever said you did.
Motherfuckers, I know swimming. Breaststroke.
Nope.
Wrong.
Nope. That's fly.
Here's my stroke. I'm just floating.
Float stroke.
I remember when Jamie tried to teach me how to swim. It was like teaching a tuna. He's like, hold your body up. I'm like, I can't. Everything keeps going down.
Okay, John, you're supposed to be able to float. Boom. He just sinks like a rock. Damn it, this was harder than I thought.
Excuse me, but I am starting to think the Team Canada might be overrated. Now, hear me out. They came a long way, yes. And shout out to them. They have 10 NBA players, which makes it the most NBA players on a non-U.S. Olympic roster in the history. So shout out to Canada. Shout out to our friends up north for that. Now, of course, SGA is a beast. He was my MVP pick. I know a lot of people said I'm tripping when I said it. So, yeah, I'm not, disparaging SGA or not saying it's not any talent out there. Jamal Murray, he can ball. He plays good. He steps up for big moments. That's all fine. But when I look at Dylan Brooks, that is your emotional leader of your team. We need to start worrying. That dude's probably going to get ejected like 3 times. So let's keep it real. That guy's a fucking clown. And who believes that he's not going to go out here and do some stupid shit to wake up LeBron or wake up Steph just by some of his stupid antics? When I look at Kelly Olynyk, and I remember him going out here ripping Kevin Love's arm out, and that's what he's most known for. I look at Dwight Powell. I mean, their better days are behind him. RJ Barrett, Knicks fans, you can attest to this. You always ready to get rid of that dude real easy and real quick. Lou Dort, Alexander Walker. Great players. I wouldn't say great. I would say good players, very solid. Any NBA team would love to have them. But let's keep it real. It's still more to be desired here. I've seen stuff online talking about Team USA is in trouble. They need to worry about Team Canada. Man, get the fuck out of here. With exception of SGA, let's keep it real. And maybe Murray, but I don't even know if I can say that. How many people on the Team Canada roster would you pick over anybody on the USA roster? Shit, I might take USA backups to beat the Canadian starters. You figure with the backups, you may have some version of Bam Adebayo, Drew Holiday, Tyrese Halliburton. We don't know exactly who's going to be starters. So you might even have AD might be coming off the bench. Jason Tatum might be coming off the bench. Ant-Man, Devin Booker. We don't know who's coming off the bench, but let's know that bench is going to be fucking stacked. And that's what I'm saying. People are getting all drinking the Canadian, maple syrup, whatever. And that's fine. Like I said, shout out to our partners up north. I'm going to congratulate them. They'll probably get a silver medal, and that's great. But we're taking the fucking gold, flat out. Probably beating about 20-plus points in the medal game.
We're locking down our events added. Let's lock your locks down of the week.
Yep. Well, you know what they say. Ride the horse when the horse seems to be giving you that winning ticket. So we're going back with Spain, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about these young Spaniards. The young, sensational 16-year-old Yamil scores his first goal in the tournament, and it was probably one of the most spectacular goals of the tournament. That tied the game, and then they went ahead and scored the winning goal in the second half to take out France. Everybody thought France was going to beat these youngsters. Not so fast. So we have the Spain-England final. Now, here's what we know. Okay, England is finding a way to get it done. England, a lot of times you see a team that loses a tournament previous year, if they make it back to the finals or close and makes a run, they're probably going to win. So England has the experience. England has the upper hand here. England probably is going to, in some ways, be the favorite by a lot of the pundits because they think that England is being almost on track to try and kind of get over the hump. Okay, England hasn't won a major international football tournament since 1966 when they hosted the World Cup. So it's been a long time for English fans. That's what they say. How long can you keep saying bring home the cup? But it ain't happening. So I'm riding that Spanish horse. I think these young Spanish are finding a way to do it with so much style. And that's what we love about the game of football. is that they bring this sort of flavor to it where even if you're not a fan, it draws you in. So here's my lock of the week. You got to take Spain over England. If you guys heard my rant, you're probably like, well, he hates England. I don't hate England. One of my favorite, if not my favorite team in the world, it's Liverpool. It's an English football club. And they have some players on the English team. But I just think Spain is the team to beat right now. So go ahead and lock it in. Take Spain to beat England. And also, I believe Argentina is playing Colombia in the Copa America finals. Argentina and Colombia are going to be an interesting one because Colombia has won 28 matches in a row. So as a bonus, I'm calling the upset special here on Cinco Squad. You heard it here from us first. Colombia to beat Argentina in the Copa America finals.
Lock it down, lock it down. Get Jamie's locks of the week. He is on fire right now. Jamie, you won last week, right?
We won last week. We won the week before. We won the week before that. We're on fire.
Jamie's got bank rolls. We got, of course, Olympic basketball starting. Do you think the Olympic basketball 2024 will be more exciting than the 2024 playoffs?
That's a great question.
Absolutely.
All right, now time for Stump this go.
Absolutely not.
I mean, I think it will be because you're getting a lot of these great players to play for their teams. I mean, you're looking at France. France has Wemby, has a lot of great players that are potentially could be NBA players. You got like Luka going back to his country. You got Canada, which I know Trey alluded to earlier, is kind of weak right now, but you also got.
I didn't call him weak. I didn't say
that was my dark horse prediction about 20 shows ago to win them.
Well, no, I didn't call him weak. I said they win a silver medal. I just said everybody need to calm down, pump their brakes. It's about this goal.
I'm just fucking with you. But I just feel that that it's going to be more competitive than you've ever seen the world take on USA, and I think Trey alludes to this every single year in the All-Star game. It would be great if you changed the All-Star game format to World versus USA because there is a lot more talent outside of this country playing in the NBA now that it's going to be exciting to see them go up against Team USA and potentially give them a run for their money. It's not going to be a cakewalk like it was, in 2008. It's not going to be a cakewalk like it has been for USA, even though they lost the last one. I think it's going to be very hard for them to win. And depending on injuries, depending on situational opportunities, they may be bounced. They may not win the gold. So I feel that it's going to be very difficult and more exciting because of that. I think the 2024 NBA playoffs were great were only great on one side, but great until, and you can't even say in the NBA finals because, it felt like the Celtics were kicking the shit out of the Mavs every single game. So I feel it was just hard for a lot of people to get into it, especially people that, don't watch the NBA every single day.
Well, since Lauri Markkanen can't be in it because Finland didn't qualify, I think Trey's answer is no because, if you guys didn't see recently, Trey was praising Lauri Markkanen for being one of the most coveted free agents on the market.
Oh yeah, even though people don't read online, which is always amazing, I quote unquote say, yes, he's a good player. What does everybody in the comments say? How are you going to say he sucks? I literally said he's a good player in the exact quote above. Everybody want everybody to kiss ass all day.
So
reading is knowledge, people. Reading is knowledge, people. Please.
Yeah, John. I think it's a cakewalk for the USA, to be honest, to the gold medal because. This is the closest thing to the dream team that I've seen in terms of the roster just being heavy hitters across the board. Heavy hitter after heavy hitter after. It's like it doesn't matter who has the ball, who's going to emerge as the star. It doesn't matter because whoever it is, they're gonna carry the team. So it's a three of your superstars could have an off night, and the other three would step up because is literally like 8 of the top 10 best players in the world, right, on that roster, or at least 8 of the top 12 best players. So I kind of see this as, I think they call the redeem team when they came back around and cleaned up the Olympics. I think we're going to see something similar. And the NBA playoffs had some excitement to it, right? I think everybody thought that Denver could be beat, and Denver got steamrolled. I think Minnesota flirted with being that young team that could make that run. I know much to Trey's chagrin, Boston, it was the Boston freaking what do we call the Eastern Conference again? It was
Boston Invitational.
The Boston Invitational, right? So the East wasn't that exciting, but the West was. I think the West was the Wild Wild West as usual, and I think it's just a formality of who's going to play the United States in the Olympic finals. at this point.
Yeah,
Gold medal match.
I agree. I don't think it's going to be as exciting because I agree. Like there is a ton of international talent that all qualified. Unfortunately, some didn't qualify. But even the international talent that did qualify, I feel is spread too thin across the other countries to be able to fully compete with this U.S. team. Now, granted, like obviously anything can happen. The injuries,
a lot of these teams that are international have been playing together for a while. And
yeah, there's that too. They have a lot of chemistry.
Chemistry wins games. I'm not saying that's the end all be all, right? You got to have some talent to that, but adding these superstars can set these teams over the top. You know, like Slovenia, that's where Luka plays, right? Slovenia.
Yeah. But the biggest problem in Tokyo was perimeter defending for the United States because they didn't really have that presence, and they have a lot of it this time around. So
adding Derek White was a big help. Drew Holiday is a lockdown defender. Anthony Edwards has proven that. You know, you got a lot more defenders on these teams than you do off. I'm not saying that they can't score. I'm saying that there's more defensive guys than there was on the Tokyo team in a sense, a two-way player type. So, and of course you got LeBron. I mean, I think the only guy that's probably a weak defender is Steph. And that's just because, you know, he's never been really a strong defender. He's always guarded like the third or fourth best guy on the floor. So, I don't know.
I just hope he pulls up from half court at least twice and just walks away because he knows it's in.
But I feel like the international rules will take a minute for the USA team. I feel like they're going to lose their first game just because I feel like the international rules are going to take them some time to kind of get adjusted. Like taking the ball off the rim. That's a huge change.
Bro, I'm going to put a bet on that for you right here. For every point they win by, you owe me that amount. And for every point they lose by, I'll pay you 10 times that amount. So if they lose by 5, I'll pay you $50. But if they lose by 40, you owe me 40.
Lock it in.
Lock it down.
First game, right? First game of the Olympics. You're saying they're going to lose.
I think
that's what you're saying right here.
Olympics.
No chance. They win by at least 45 points.
I'm not paying $45.
That's my ass,
all right, Trey, go ahead.
Mike, did you finish your thoughts? I don't know if Mike really finished his thoughts.
Yeah, no. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was saying I want to make sure Mike actually. No, it's going to be more entertaining, and it's not. Yes, USA is going to go ahead and walk to the championship. It's going to be similar to Boston. They got to walk to a championship, and if we say that was entertaining, it's the other stuff that's going to happen that makes it entertaining because you do have the stars spread out. So I'm thinking the USA is going to basically beat everybody down, but you will have entertaining games where now you do have at least somebody you know on every team. You can say, okay, well, I know that guy. I know this guy. Okay, I know a couple guys in France. So I think that's going to be interesting. And the NBA ultimately ended up being a little bit anticlimactic because you basically got to the conference championship. You had a sweep. You had a 5-game series. We got to the finals. We had a 5-game series. So usually we get a lot of basketball the last month of the season. In real life, we basically got 14 games in the last 30 days plus of basketball. So I think just having that rapid pace is going to make it more interesting. And then the fact that we have just the spread outness, and then the country pride. You never take that any lightly. So like I watched Carlos Arroyo out there hugging Jose Alvarado. Carlos Arroyo, who was America's kryptonite years ago, now being one of the coaches of Puerto Rico, out there hugging Carlos Arroyo. So you see those type of moments where you know like it means something to these guys. You go out here, you got Sark and Zubac out here fighting people at the bar already. When we're out here doing qualifying, we got Dennis Schroeder and Evan Fournier out here having choke matches, and this is the damn play. We're not even in the game for real. So I only can imagine how intense it's going to be for some of these guys when they're fighting their ass off to get that silver medal. No offense, USA is winning this gold. So when y'all here fighting for this silver medal, I think it's going to get really intense in some of these games. And then the other thing that's going to make it more entertaining is because this is the last dance. It really is, because this is the end of, for the most part, LeBron. This is almost the end of Steph. This is almost the end of Durant. Mm-hmm. Yes, I've enjoyed watching all these guys and some of the videos and pictures interact, and all that's going to be just fun to watch. Some of these legends. I mean, you may, whatever you want to say about these guys, between LeBron, Steph, and Durant, you might realistically have 3 of the top 15 players of all time that's going to be on the court together. We ain't going to see this again. They won't be at the next Olympics. And meanwhile, you're watching the next generation, and that's what I love about this USA team, where you're watching Halliburton, you're watching Edwards, you're watching Tate, you're watching these young guys all together. So we're getting the best of both, because we have the extreme of the OGs, we got the extreme of the youth. So, yeah, I think we're going to be very entertained, actually, with this Olympics.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that you're noticing with the Team USA is that they're just those three guys you can tell they're taking every single day with a stride. Mm-hmm. You can tell they're taking it all in at once or enjoying. I mean, I've never seen Kevin Durant enjoy media days more than he ever has.
True.
But he typically loves media day for US. It's weird. He loves it for when he plays on Team USA. He loved it the first time he played. He just enjoys it, and that's weird because he typically doesn't like to talk to the media. But you can tell.
I think it's the Olympic spirit. I think
there's a different spirit
to the Olympics, and it's the Olympic
spirit. You can tell
he
enjoys that. But I think to your point, Trey, on the whole pride thing, never take away that, because that chemistry and pride, man, that'll take you a long way. I do think USA is going to win this gold, but I mean, I'm just saying it's going to be competitive in some of these games that they're going to play, because I feel like some of these teams are going to take it to them maybe in the first half, and then, okay, they'll pull away. But don't be surprised if you see a half where they're only up like 3, right? And just because someone's struggling. See, we've seen it before. Like Steph is, just off in the one time that he is, right? And it's just like no one's really hitting, and then all of a sudden in the second half, boom, they explode. So I can see that happening. You can tell they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder from Tokyo. So we'll see what happens there.
Pump the brakes on this whole love for Zach Edey thing. I think he's going to be a decent NBA player. He's got the size. But this 14 and 15 game, which is impressive, obviously it's a double-double, but it's in Summer League. Walker Kessler was about the only fully capable NBA player that was on that Summer League roster that would have been guarding him. And while he's good, let's just wait to see what he does against some stiffer competition. Oh, I don't know. MVPs Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. I'm also going to imagine Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be on him once or twice. Mitchell Robinson, who's a good rebounder. Clint Capella, who's a good rebounder. I mean, there's a lot of bigs in here that obviously are veterans and aren't going to be in Summer League. So let's just hold off on naming him the favorite against guys that I think are more talented than he is at this point in his career. Will Zach Edey be a great NBA player? He very well might be. At 7'4", he's got the tools to do it. But I don't think he's Rookie of the Year material this year compared to some of the other guys that are coming out.
As USA gets ready for the Olympics, we got to get ready for our Stump the Squad champion, number 2. Let's see if I can take down Trey Day. Let's get to it, fellas. It's time for Stump the Squad.
Yeah, boys and girls, ghouls and goblins. It's our favorite time to show Stump the Squad. You made it here in the podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Remember to click like and subscribe. Seagull Squad, you can find us all over the internet. So, ladies and gentlemen, somebody is taking a little incline here where he thinks he's going to be making that run towards getting this second crown. But that ain't happening, because we got to step up our game tonight, fellas. And if you want to play along with us, don't use your phones. Don't use your laptops. Go ahead and be a good sport. You get +2 if you get it right, -2 if you get it wrong. If you get more points than us, go ahead and comment and tell us we suck and you're the best. And we'll obviously just have to believe you and trust you. But we trust each other, and we know we don't cheat here because we love playing games. We love playing them fairly. So let's start this week off with Trey Day, and let's see what Trey Day has for his Stump question of the week.
Okay, so back to the Olympics here. We talked a lot about events and, what events we like that's coming new, what events that we would love to see in. So, of these 4 events, which was never a competition used in the Olympics? We have tug of war, rope climbing, standing long jump, or arm wrestling.
One more time, tug of war.
Tug of war, rope climbing, standing long jump, arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling.
Yeah, arm wrestling.
Because we got 2 arm wrestling.
I'm gonna say tug of war.
Nope,
okay, so we have Jamie and Mike with arm wrestling. We have John with tug of war. Today, I have successfully stumped John. Arm wrestling has never been a sport.
I knew tug of war was, and I knew standing long jump was. It was between the other 2. So
that's cheating. He's an Olympic athlete. That's fucked up. That's really fucked, Trey. I'm just.
Well, considering he was
no
living, I won't give away the years because it may need to be a tiebreaker, but he may or may not have been living for these sports, being Grandpa Jay.
Yeah.
Let's go with Mike.
Okay, keeping on the Olympic theme.
Nice.
The Olympic torch relay in 1968 followed which famous explorer's path? So the torch relay leading into the games in 1968 followed which famous explorer's path? Amerigo Vespucci, Ferdinand Magellan, Christopher Columbus, or Ragnar Lothbrok?
What's the first two?
68 or 1868?
1968.
And what was the four again?
Amerigo Vespucci, Ferdinand Magellan, Christopher Columbus, or Ragnar Lothbrok?
Did you say where hosted the 68 games?
I'm going Columbus.
I'm going Magellan. You got it wrong.
Who was the host of the 68 games? Hold on.
You were there.
Shut up. 72.
That was his debut. It's
his first Olympics, but
yeah.
It's strong showing.
Who was A?
Amerigo Vespucci.
Sure. Amerigo Vespucci.
Okay, so this week I have successfully stumped John and Jamie. It was in fact Christopher Columbus.
Wow.
I was really hoping one of you'd go for Ragnar Lothbrok.
I wanted to. Was that from Thor?
He was a famous Viking, adventurer that took over. I think England. I think he was where he was located at. Go play Assassin's Creed Valhalla to see more about it.
Oh yes, sir. Please, I'll play Assassin's Creed any day.
Oh, it's such a fun game. Okay, well then, my Assassin's Creed brother, Jamie, go ahead.
Since I had a Wimbledon question, but I also have an Olympic question to back it up. So we're going to use that one. Gentlemen, we knew that, well, in case you didn't know, the 4x100, as we spoke about here, 4x100 relay was absolutely dominated by the American men between the years 1920 to 2004. And those 19 Olympics, they won 15 gold medals and 2 silvers. However, the U.S. men have had a lot of trouble since 2004 in the 4x1. So, can you guys tell me how many medals have the U.S. men won since the year 2004 in the 4x1 relay? Is it 0, 1, 2, or 3?
1.
1.
Okay, 1.
Everybody's going at 1?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, you guys are all right. It's 1. So here's why. Here's why. The U.S. men have been disqualified. They were disqualified in 2008, 2012, and 2016. Because in 2012, they had to forfeit their silver medal due to a positive drug test. So they finally got back on the podium in the Tokyo Olympics.
And then Tyson Gay dropped the baton to 1 year.
Yep.
Which, yeah, I remember very vividly.
Down to 3, fellas. Mike and Trey have 4, Jamie at 0, and I'm out at -2. So, with my question of today, how many gold medals has the Team USA won in basketball, men and women?
Oh, wow.
19, 25, 26, or 29? Men and
25.
Mike says 25. Jamie? Trey?
Trey's smirking, which means he knows.
No, I actually don't know the answers. I'm trying to... what was the 4 choices again?
19, 25, 26, or 29?
Who said go? Let's go 19.
I agree with 19.
Well, fellas, you should have went with Mike's answer because it is 25. And this week's Stump the Squad champion is Mike DeSanto.
You would have won anyway if I said 25.
Yes, sir. We back.
Yeah,
it's time for another 8 run.
Since we started this challenge, Mike has not had a good numbers.
No, but it's time for another 8 straight run. This is where it starts.
I'm just playing.
Time for the Ocho Pete, Mike.
I'm a streaky shooter. I'm Klay
Thompson. Shows up in practice.
Oh, fact check. Klay Thompson hit 211 threes in his second year. 211.
That was his fourth year. You were supposed to be in the second year. Come on, man.
So this week's Stump the Squad champion is Mike. The scoreboard now reads Trey Day with 7, Mike and John with 4, and Jamie with 3. We are down to 5 episodes left, and I believe if Trey wins next week, he is the champ.
I don't think because you guys can win 4 in a row.
We would have to tie. We would only be able to tie.
You could tie.
We could tie, and then we would have to try to
do a major tiebreaker.
The ultimate tiebreaker.
We'd have to do like a best out of 3 tiebreaker.
No, we'll do a bench press competition.
Bro, you always bring up that damn bench press competition.
That's fine. I'm ready.
Shit.
I know. So Trey and I will compete for this.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Watch Mike just fucking come in and bench 100. Just sa. You know what you gotta do? You gotta do this like they did for Charles and Shaq. They put like the fake plates on for Mike. Just keep stacking them. Be like, what the fuck? I know Trey probably can get me because I'm not really good strong bench press. So
yeah, that was one of my specialties. So
I know that's what I'm saying. Like eventually, you could do like 2 weeks worth. You'd be like, all right, I feel like he's gonna tie, so I'm gonna do a couple.
Yeah,
fine. We'll do best 2 out of 3. If it's me, we'll do best 2 out of 3. The first event can be the bench press thing. The second needs to be a 50 free in swimming. And then
third event is wingsuit flying. May the best.
Yeah, exactly. one becomes Stump the Squad champion. The other one dies.
And then it becomes
Solo Squad.
Solo Squad. Hosted by the guy that's never going to show up on time. All you're going to see is a fucking Liverpool flag by itself for about 12 minutes.
Potentially. You said it was supposed to be at 9. Yeah, it's supposed to be at 9. It's 12.
Welcome to Cinco Squad for another 46 minutes of exciting.
No, it would be possibly Dose Squad because Trey and I both might not make it at that point.
Well, any final thoughts heading into the weekend? We got Wimbledon, we got the Genesis Scottish Open, we got MLB baseball, and we have USA.
Let's go, Jokic. Let's win number 8. Let's go.
Yes, good luck to Jokic. Let's go, Rory. Let's get back on track at the Genesis when you're back to back. And Yankees, get it done. Get it done
please,
for
the love of God.
I would love to watch the Copa America Finals with Spanish commentators. Just ahead and go, I don't go para que se de Lionel Messi.
And on that note,
I can't do it like that, but those motherfuckers are the
No, that was a solid length.
You just broke your mic.
That was good.
And on that note, make sure you guys go follow us at Cinco Squad Pod 05 on all platforms and anywhere you find your podcasts. We will be back here next week. Cinco Squad out.